Hey,
Hi,
hi Shubham, how are you?
good. How are you?
I'm good, man. Good afternoon.
It's actually evening here. Like it's 9:30 at night.
Very cool, very cool. Very good evening. Good evening. How was your dinner, man?
Great. Just ordered a tiffin online. So
What'd you eat? What'd you have for dinner?
Indian food.
Cool, man. It's
Okay.
very
Very general. If you can give that idea so that you can understand.
yeah. Awesome, man. Awesome. How have you been?
Being like I'm good. Struggling with the whole situation, COVID.
Yeah. When when was the last time you were in Los Angeles?
Uh, January 2020.
Oh wow. Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, so you kind of got out of here before it got out of hand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Everyone keeps telling me that you were lucky enough to, fly off.
Yeah. No, very appropriate timing. I'll do the little intro and then we could just keep flowing, okay?
Sure, sure.
Cool. Welcome everyone to the Filthy Animals podcast. Today for the first time on the show, I have Shubham Sanjay Shevade. Mr. Shevade is an Indian film director, screenwriter, producer with roots from cultural heritage from India to the world entertainment capital of Los Angeles. Mr. Shevade has produced over 70 short films, commercials, and also a feature. He has also established a nonprofit called Uniting Artists, a platform for unsung artists around the world, created with the goal of promoting peace and progressive culture. He has a new film coming out, and a trailer was just released for his new feature, A Trial Before Monsoon. Uh, how'd I do, man?
That's good. Name. Name is pronounced as Shave Day.
Let's do
Shave
it.
Day.
The first name?
Shave Day. It's like you can say Shave Day.
Shave Day. Last
Yeah,
name Shave Day.
yeah, and Shubham.
Shub, thank you.
Shubham. Yes. But in general, it's great. Wonderful.
I am doing my best to pronounce names correctly, but I butcher them quite often on the show. Thank
It's
you for
completely fine.
I'm sure it comes up here and there. So thank you. You are a filmmaker. You and I should we just talk about how we met at first before we get into it?
Let's just jump on it.
Uh, how did we meet? How did we meet?
So, you know, um, we were attending this independent filmmaker session with Dov Simmons,
Yes.
great instructor.
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, how to make independent cinema, how to approach filmmaking in lower budgets, and how to just go out there and start making movies.
Yeah.
And I was lucky enough to meet you there and start our chat right away about how to make films. And just I think you were making this script of filthy animals back then. I guess you shared a little idea with me. I
Yeah.
was thrilled.
Yeah.
And now you made it. It's like so cool.
Yeah.
So I think Los Angeles does that to you. You put something in a paper, and then after 1 or 2 years it's on screen.
Uh, uh,
So yeah, so that's how we met.
yeah, man, it was really fun. You and I were basically getting yelled at all day
Move your fingers. Writers write, thinkers think.
from Dov Simmons, and you and I decided day two on a 2 day learn how to make an independent film course. You and I went and grabbed a burger. We had
Yes.
we had a good dialogue, good conversation. It was really awesome getting to hang out with you, man, on that break. And
Great,
I never
great
got
place.
I never got to tell you, but that night on our last day, they were having a party for Roma
Oh yes.
at Rally Studios, and since I'm pronouncing things kind of rough today. Is it Rayleigh or Rally? It's Rally, right?
Relic Studios. Relic Studios.
Rayleigh.
Right.
Okay. 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 At Rayleigh Studios, um, I walked by the security guard and I said, "Hey, what's going on in there?" And they go, "We're having a party for Roma." And I said, "Oh, cool. Is it okay if I pop in there for a minute?" And the guy was like, "No, like leave. Like, you kidding me? Like, just walk." And I said, "No problem. It never hurts to ask, right? You never know. Maybe, you never know, right?" And so I start to walk away. And then he goes, "What are you here for?" And I said, "I was here for a 2-day film school course. I'm trying to be a filmmaker. And I'm just really fascinated by this film by Alfonso Cuarón. I would love to just kind of pop my head in, and I won't cause a ruckus or anything." He let me in, actually. It was kind of wild. So,
Whoa.
so I was kind of walking around and left my backpack at the front, and it was cool. I mainly didn't socialize. I didn't want to cause any attention that way, but I got to see the sets, and I got to kind of walk around a little bit. It was fun. It was a good way to kind of end that weekend, And
Yes.
have you used some of Dov Simmons' things that he taught towards your filmmaking since then?
So before that, I used to approach filmmaking with strict rules, and you have to follow this. You have to follow a certain paperwork. You have to go with you know by book when you are producing any films. But after attending Dove's session, I think what happened to me was to explore. We should just go out there without a worry about paperwork and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We should just be passionate about making things. And I think Dove kind of like was a inspiration for me in terms of that. Like even though whatever budget is allotted to you, you just have to make it happen no matter what. And I think it comes back to his foundation, because he just said to every one of us that he started as a line producer in films. And I think I was really thinking about it, like, you know what, it's actually true. At the end of the day, nothing matters. You just have to get the shit done,
Yeah.
I think after, like, when the movie is screened in a film festival, or when you're approaching any indie distributors or anything, they just do all those things for you. And and you don't have to worry about it. You just have to go and shoot a movie. It's simple as that.
Yeah.
And then I was like, like what I was, and I applied the same thing with my feature film called The Big Rant.
Cool.
It's an indie Hollywood film. We are, it's going on a festival run right now, and even A Trial Before Monsoon. I kind of like I was new here, back again in India, working, starting from zero.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I got in touch with all these people, and it was it was necessary for me to build a foundation around it.
Yeah.
Introducing myself as a filmmaker coming from Los Angeles, and stepping up my game here, it was difficult, but I think it all started from the idea that you just have to go and make a movie. It doesn't matter how you do it. So that's the overall idea.
Yeah. Um, when I left that weekend, I was like, I was originally going to shoot a scene from the film and kind of raise money to pull off the feature. And when I left that day, I was like, I'm making a feature. I'm just gonna make it. And I was a little unrealistic on when we would start shooting. I thought I would start shooting a little sooner, but we got there and we pulled it off. And we had a similar thing with timing where COVID hit and we still had a couple more filming days we had to do, and so we postponed some filming days, but it was only like a couple days, and it was very divide and conquer. And we had to change the location. which ended up working out better for the story. And we'll take it, you know. And yeah, Dov Simmons was definitely he lit a fire. He was extremely motivating. And I had a friend from film school. Shout out to Myra. She gave me this article about a 2-day film school course, and she thought I would love it. And it was definitely worth it. It was, even the location was so inspiring to be at. You know, I heard the studio that we were at is where they also filmed the final. I don't know if you've seen the Avengers Endgame, right?
Yes. So
When Tony Stark does the "I am Iron Man," you know, in like his final moment, it was filmed there, and it was like a last minute filming schedule they had to pull off, and they filmed it there, and it was just so great that you and I we were next door to the Chaplin Theater, and then today you want to kind of talk a little bit about modern times and everything going on with Roma. It was really inspiring to be in that environment.
that's true. I think during our lunchtime. So you just shared me your story, guys. So I would like to share mine. What happened during lunchtime?
Yeah.
I think like on the day one, I went to the studio. I was looking at the companies that work there. So basically, studios provide hub for many production companies to work there, right?
Yeah.
So I went to the many production offices there that day, and I kind of like, okay, now I'm gonna bookmark every single production office. I'm gonna start calling them after this weekend. And I did it. After that I started calling them, and I was asking like if they have any internship, and then I got into an internship.
Yeah.
So I did 2 months internship at a development like producer. So they were having this script development and content development team, and I was a little part of it. I was understanding how to. Of course, they were not making like A-listed movies, but I got the mechanics of how to develop a project and how to get it done in Hollywood, in real time.
Yeah.
So it happened to me back then just because of that.
Yeah, no, I love it. I get the same feeling. You and I both are, you know, you kind of have to schmooze a little bit, and you have to network and put yourself out there, you know. Yeah, every time I took a bathroom break for the Dov Simmons course, I always took the luxurious route and just acted like I got lost, but I was there kind of waiting to try to network and chit chat, you know.
Yeah, and even I think they had this food court there,
I know.
So it was like we have to go there, we have to eat something, then we have to like just find reasons to go there.
Yeah.
I know.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Can you tell me a little bit about your new feature film, A Trial Before Monsoon, and how
It's
long?
actually a proof of concept that we did.
Okay.
It's in regional language, Marathi. It's one of the Indian languages.
Okay.
And so basically it's about it deals with family relationships and how, if introduced in an extreme situation, how to deal with it.
Yeah.
So it's about a lung cancer father he's a patient of lung cancer, and he has like 4 or 5 months to live. And at that time he decides, you know what, I want to live free. I don't want to be bothered by anyone. So he hires his suicidal daughter to be his lawyer, because he wants to divorce his wife before he dies. So so it's like a ironic situation of life and death. It also deals with separation and being together. It also deals with relationship between father and daughter, and uh, like suicidal daughter, and here father is at his dying stage, and he is kind of inspiring her to live her life.
Yeah.
And it's so it deals with all of that. And mom, like the mother in the story, is not shown at all, but you can kind of like, just by describing the way they describe it and the way the backstory works, you kind of figure it out how mom is. She is like the three-dimensional character who is not present in the film. So I think that was the most challenging part to work around, and finally we did it. I think it was able because of the great team effort, great team we had for each and every department. Right from so I wrote the story with a very New Yorky accent, like very snappy dialogues and everything. So I got a writer on board for just writing the dialogues. Um, so it was a great collaboration with her as well. So getting that script developed, and later on we kept pitching it to the team members, investors to jump in and to um, if they have any things to say. And it also talks about how the Mexican festival of the Day of the Dead is so inspiring. The few days, how it inspires, we celebrate death, we celebrate life rather than mourning someone's death. So it
Yeah.
inspires you to live your life instead of just waiting for it to end. So, so it's like a good start for me, because my family, my relatives, they wanted to see what I did back there. And it's a good starting point to start with something with it's like my language, my mother tongue, and everyone should um, watch that movie and appreciate my work. So that was the motivation behind it.
The image of her in your trailer of her Day of the Dead face paint, that's a beautiful shot, man. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great efforts we did for even the makeup artist. I have to explain him how the festival is, and so he went through many references. And then the VFX artist, he is very talented, and Shubhankar. So he got that face transformation. So on 27th, it's releasing on YouTube channel. So you can see how that shot really works out.
Um, what was it like for you with that kind of subject matter as a filmmaker on set? Um, did you feel like because some of the subject matter was kind of heavy that you had to be in that state of mind constantly? And so was it a little bit like did you feel that weight on you as far as not necessarily I want to use the word like depressing, but like was it hard to stay in that mood? Were you able to come out of it, at the end of the days?
I think it was not at all stressful for me on set,
Okay.
just
Okay.
because of the great team members I had.
Cool.
But I think it was stressful when during the pre-production stage, during the planning of the entire thing, or to get involved with the actors and
Yeah.
get them on the same page as you are,
Yeah.
get your production designer, director of photography, or even makeup artist, or to get everyone on the same page as you are.
Yeah.
That's the most difficult task, I guess. And that plus the obvious COVID situation.
Yeah.
We have to follow all the protocols, all the things, and we still have to manage and meet them, or meet online and get that discussion out of our way so that we can focus on our production stage. Uh, but when we went for production, it was just like smooth as butter. It was like we were right away on the same page. Of course, there was a delay in camera. Like the camera team arrived like 4 hours after the call time. My assistant director was assuring me that it's okay. It happens in India. You have to I'm like, okay, it's new thing for me. You don't have to freak out. We'll okay. So if they're coming 4 hours late, that means I'm getting 4 hours more on the call time, right?
Right.
He's like, no, you are not getting any. So uh, that part was a little stressful,
Yeah.
but and right away my cinematographer and um, everyone else on set, they were like, calm down, we'll finish it. We don't have much to shoot.
Yeah.
And the actors are all talented. Dr. Mohan Agashe, who is psychiatrist himself, and uh, who plays father's role, and Tanvi Kulkarni, who is playing daughter. They both are great actors. We just, I narrated the story a lot of times before we came on board, and then later on, they were just amazing, and I was giving them freedom to, you can improvise your lines, and as far as it stays on the same context, and yeah, it drove them emotionally, and it helped the project.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
How many production days was this feature?
It was not it was like 3 days, 2 to 3 days. Yeah.
Wait, I want to make sure I heard that right. The feature took 2 to 3 days?
No, it's not a feature. I said like it's a proof of concept
Oh,
that.
I'm with you. I'm with you. Thank you so much. I'm with
Yeah.
you. I'm with you. Thank you so much. I'm like so impressed. No, I'm with you. It looks beautiful, man. I think I like it was really well put together. And good luck with it.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about your upbringing with cinema. When did you know you wanted to be a director?
um I never knew I wanted to be a director, but I think because of my father, my mom, and everyone, they were like, you should watch Laurel and Hardy, you should watch Charlie Chaplin, and so I was introduced to Charlie Chaplin's Modern Times by my father, and my mom introduced me to Laurel and Hardy. like so I was introduced to comedy in the very beginning, and I was like, oh, it's like amazing. And then later on, we had this VCR,
Yeah.
and we used to rent like VCDs to watch these movies. Then my father, then later on, he introduced me to many films after watching these movies. That he introduced me to Jumanji, he introduced me to Honey, I Shrink My Kids, Home Alone, Rocky, Rambo, and it
Wow.
all it was all great journey. And I think because of my parents, and later on I was back to Indian cinema on my own.
Cool.
But I was introduced to Western cinema, like at the foundation of it.
Cool.
So I think it will be the influence overall throughout my career.
Yeah.
And yeah, then I came across American Beauty, and it just changed my whole point of view of looking towards cinema.
Yeah.
Uh, I think Sam Mendes, the director, is awesome. I never like I was like, okay, let's read the screenplay, and I watched the movie. Let's read the screenplay, and it was totally different than what he put on screen.
Oh, awesome.
And I think that's the thing, right? Whatever it's on script, it's not necessarily it will be on screen, and not necessarily it will be same when it's being edited.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think I learned that process from American Beauty, that how every stage of film and every department in the film is so important, and the collaboration is so necessary to. At the end of the day, what you have to do is to deliver the emotional product to your audience.
Yeah.
And American Beauty did that to me. It just opened up many gates for many stories for me.
And what an amazing first film for a filmmaker. for Sam Mendes to start with American Beauty is pretty crazy. I've read the script, but the more I think about it, I read the script of what they actually shot, of the film.
Yeah.
What were the differences in the script you read to the film?
First of all, there was no narration.
Okay.
He started with everyone in this film are losers, and they just find and there's just one stable guy in the movie, and there's just one girl who is trying to be stable.
Yeah.
But in the end of the movie, they are the ones who become losers, and everyone else just
Yeah.
win their battles and win their, you know, like they just achieve a step to what they want.
Yeah.
The characters struggle to achieve what they want and what they need,
Yeah.
and the exterior point of view of what your dream is and what do you really want to say about your life, like the shot of the plastic bag,
Yeah. Of course.
on screen.
Of
It's just
course.
the symbol of, your life can go anywhere. You cannot just put a label onto it, and
Yeah.
that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
So that was in the screenplay, but the screenplay was like so plain. It felt like a B movie. I was like, all right, but you should see. There's a YouTube video of how they
Okay.
managed to, edit this film. Like they made the story in the post production,
Okay.
and if most of the decisions were made during the editing process.
Wow.
And so we'll do. I think we'll do that in post. Is kind of inspired from that. I don't know.
Uh, I think when a movie is when you watch a film and then years later someone names that film off, whenever you can think of a color that represents the film, like the use of the color red in American Beauty,
Yes.
it's very impactful, very powerful. I'm a
Okay.
huge fan of American Beauty. I loved it growing up, and I go back to it. For some reason, I quote, "I will sell this house today." I don't know why I say that one a lot with the mom. Um, and I love the story of this dad kind of going through this midlife crisis, and he starts working out, working at a fast food joint. He's smoking joints. I really enjoy that film. It's a beautiful film, and then the ending is extremely emotional and heavy. Uh, Tell me a little bit about when you saw Modern Times as a kid. When you see these films, were you seeing them in India?
Yeah.
When is it? I know obviously Chaplin films are silent films, but when you watched anything with dialogue, is it dubbed or is it subtitled? When
It's
you
subtitled. I preferred watching it with subtitles since
Cool.
the beginning.
Yeah,
Um, um, I think my dad forced me to do that.
yeah,
The like if it's not available in English, then we used to rent the CDs, like CDs or DVDs.
cool.
Um,
Yeah.
Back then it was CDs. So
I like asking. I'm always kind of curious. And then whenever I watch films that are dubbed and then we'll watch the subtitled version, it changes.
yeah,
They change lyric like lines like very casually. And I dig it, man. I like that you watch it that way. Um the other films I would like to kind of touch on a little bit is so speaking of subtitles, um, for Satya, I had to sign up for a free monthly trial of this film streaming service to be able to rent it. And so I subscribed to it to be able to watch it, right?
wow.
After I subscribe to it and then I see that the film it's like 2 hours and 37 minutes, I hit play. I was not able to watch it on subtitles. I did my best. I did my best. I got the idea of where it went, and I was definitely. It gave me the opportunity to focus more on the visuals and the storytelling in that way. But what a beautiful film, man, and what a like. I don't know if you've seen films like Gomorrah or The Prophet, but it reminded me so much of these worlds and crime, and I could see the influence of like Scorsese a little bit. Tell me a little bit about your first time watching Satya.
My dad introduced me to Satya.
Dude, shout out to Dad, man. That's awesome.
So even in Satya, I watched it way before Goodfellas, way before um, Pulp Fiction. I've watched Satya, and it was a totally different experiment done in Indian cinema.
Yeah.
And I think all the character, since it was a character-driven story, I was emotionally with those characters.
Yeah.
Like I empathized with them, and each and every time a moment used to occur in film, I used to be tensed. What's going to happen?
Yeah.
And the whole idea of the main character and the characters in the film who are a very integral part of the story, they just die
You know.
without any notice. And it was, I think it was great for me. I was, and at the same time, keeping the balance of how Indian audience will take it, like keeping the musical aspect of it
Yeah.
at the same time, because Indian cinema is based on this foundation of having musicals, having um, you know like a melodrama. That's the foundation of Indian cinema, and we are like India. Indian audience tend to watch movies with musical numbers in it, with songs in it,
Yeah.
dance forms and everything. So Satya is a good balance of keeping the character story, character driven story, and at the same time appealing to the Indian audience and world cinema. And yeah,
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved every bit of it. That how a stranger is introduced in a place and he gets in touch with the mafia
Yeah.
in Mumbai, and he becomes part of them, and later on how his life crumbles towards the end. It's all great. What do you think about it? What did you think? Even
I
though,
it was I'll watch anything, and then I really respect you as a filmmaker, and so no matter what, I'll do my best to kind of see the narrative and the story. um my wife has been to India, and so she wanted to watch it with me, and uh that and the Sutra film were very accurate. Apparently, is what Kendra's telling me about feeling like you were in that environment and you were in that world, and spending time in that culture. Um, I really appreciate these films where, kind of like the films I named off earlier, Gomorrah and a Prophet, where you have all these different side characters, and you have your lead, but yet you have this ensemble cast, and you don't know who's safe, and you don't know who you should hold on to, and who you should technically care about. um, but I know that I'm going off of the little bit of information I got at the end, but the writing at the end that comes out about how this story is for empathy for Satya, but it's also for the people that were around him and that were hurt that he surrounded himself around. And it really does encompass and, summarizes the film. And I really enjoyed the use of um, there was almost a humor aspect with the musical numbers where it became fun and like satirical, but yet we knew we were in a dangerous world. And I thought it was a really interesting tone of two different genres kind of coming together. And I didn't know when I should feel safe to enjoy the scene or when the opposite was going to happen. And films like The Departed also came up for me, as far as this, like, you don't know who's going to survive by the end. Have you seen The Departed?
yes,
So it's kind of like in the ending of The Departed, all these people are kind of getting, capped off, and you're like, I
yeah,
don't even know if my lead is going to survive it. And then come to find out, spoilers a little bit,
yeah,
he doesn't. And I'm definitely gonna check out the sequel. I saw that there is a second one available.
you shouldn't.
Oh. Okay. Okay, fair enough, man. Fair enough.
So he like Ram Gopal Verma, the director of the film, he
Yes.
was at his prime during those years, and his collaboration with Anurag Kashyap. Anurag Kashyap is the writer of the film. Um, he again Anurag Kashyap, who is the writer of the film, inspired the generation of young independent filmmakers to get on board and make movies even if you struggle with budgets.
Yeah.
Um, so that's why even Satya is like a low budget movie in Indian cinema.
Yeah.
But still they managed and they pull it off really well. And later on, Anurag Kashyap made multiple movies like Black Friday, Gangs of Wasseypur, and I think he took that inspiration from Ram Gopal Verma and he started making movies, and it inspired many young independent filmmakers here.
I
Again, he at his downfall now. I don't know.
no. We all go through hills and valleys, highs and lows. I really enjoyed the way it was shot. I really appreciated this kind of guerrilla style of filmmaking. A lot of handheld at some points, but also at some points really nice technically achieved shots with the crane, little kind of flowing up or flowing down. And there's one in particular where we follow one of the side characters up the stairs as he's kind of dancing, and it's very smooth and flawless. And I can get behind that, where we have a nice blend of, we don't have the luxury to throw it on a tripod for this shot. We're going to get our coverage, but yet in other ones, we're going to take our time with it and get a nice technical shot. And there's a lot I appreciated about it. I will definitely watch it again if I can get my hands on the DVD and just put on a subtitle setting.
I'll send you. I'll send you a subtitle file. I think
Thank you.
there are a few websites they give it to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. I really felt for that character. There's films like one in particular that came up for me called Girl Walks Home Alone at Night. There's scenes in the film where it's a couple and they're about to have their first kiss, but what they'll do is they'll play this entire song. They'll play like a 4.5-minute song. And there was scenes with our lead and with his lady down by the water, and they don't mind, and I enjoy it, playing the full song. It's like a 3-minute scene, and it's just him and his lady by the water. There's smooth cross dissolves, and I just appreciate getting lost in a world and not worrying so much about pace and just going with it and kind of feeling the way they felt, where in scenes where it's more tense, it's a little more shakier. It's a little more wild in the car with tension when there's the gun cocked behind him in the back seat. And then to have the scenes down by the beach, I just appreciated the change of pace,
Yeah, they took a lot of effort in every single aspect of it, and like even story, direction, use of lights, like the moments we share with our friends, even at the wedding, the whole song at the wedding, the bromance and the relationship between wife and the guy itself. It's so like Manoj Vajpayee's character and his wife. It's so different. We'd never see it someday, So they are fighting. She closes the door and she just hits him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Slaps him.
Yeah.
You should see that scene. She's like, you never shop anything for me. You should me. You should take me shopping. Okay, I will, and they just start, the romance. And it's that was good to me about it.
How old were you the first time you saw it, and were you immediately taken back from this film? Did it impact you immediately, or did it take time?
It took time. Yeah.
Cool. That's
Uh,
awesome.
yeah, I watched it like when I was in sixth grade.
Nice. That's a good age.
Um,
Yeah.
I think I was struggling with my academics when I was in ninth grade. That's when it
Yeah,
took
yeah,
time
yeah.
like a wine.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Very, very, very nice. Very nice. If you had to have a still from the movie and have a still up on your wall, what would that still be?
Remember the scene where he puts the matchstick
Of
and he
course.
takes the matchstick towards,
Yeah,
and it's like a face reveal.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I think that's the still.
That's beautiful, beautiful. So when they're filming like the scene at the end, kind of, with everyone, everyone at this like a parade kind of setting, what that's all probably no permit, just film it, right? Kind of guerrilla.
Yes.
I love that. I love that so much. Um,
I mean, even Meera Nair's film, the one who directed Kama Sutra,
yeah.
uh, you should watch her film called Salam Bombay. Uh, Salam Bombay is you know, like a mirror of how Mumbai is in from the point of view of the brothels, from the people who are living in like
Yeah.
slum
Yeah.
areas of Mumbai.
Yeah.
I think that's like a you should watch that movie instead of watching Danny Boyle's Slumdog Millionaire, because Slumdog Millionaire is kind of Western point of view of how India is,
Okay.
but so that's why it doesn't do that justice
Okay.
to the uh, film. But if you watch Saddam Bombay, you'll get the idea of what Indian point of view of those aspects are. So
Okay.
that's why you should watch it. And even there in the last scene, they shot it gorilla. I will send you the link of how they,
Okay.
made that happen.
Okay.
Like the multiple cams, and
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
they were just giving notes to the actors because they were like ten thousands of people in on street, but the camera was just focusing on the actor
Yeah.
and his struggle of finding his family, but he separates from the family. It's not a spoiler. The
No, it's
uh,
okay. It's okay. No, I dig it. I dig it. Since you just kind of, we can kind of bleed into this Kamu Sutra from 1996, A Tale of Love, directed by Amir Nar.
yeah,
Or
yeah.
am I saying it correctly?
Veera
Nair?
Nair. Yeah.
Thank you, man. Um, Two females become sexual rivals at maturity.
Yeah.
Uh, I told you in the messenger, I had nightmares. uh, uh, I was it's so funny. I could watch a horror film before bed. I could watch violence. Um, and you put this on, and I had nightmares all night that my wife cheated on me, and I was telling my wife, I'm gonna tell your family what has happened, and this can't, and I woke up like, what's going on? Uh, I was very invested in this film. I was very in a good way. I was very stressed out for our characters, and I really wanted it to all work out for everybody, except for maybe the prince. Maybe he could have, got just a couple more slaps on the wrist. But can you tell me a little bit about the first time you saw this film, and how old were you, and how it hit you? How it hit you the first time you watched it?
I watched it secretly because
Yeah.
I cannot just hey mom, hey dad, I'm watching.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We cannot do that here, you know.
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
and I watched it when I was like in eighth or ninth grade again. Um, what I really like about this movie the title of the film attracted to watch,
Yeah. Yeah.
watching the movie because of the title. But when I got invested in the movie, I was like, dude, this title doesn't even make sense.
I
It's
agree.
not. It's not about that. It's about their journey, of each and everyone's journey, about
Yeah.
um, how, like, and at the same time, traditions of India. Um, it's overhyped. Of course, it's overhyped, but in a good way.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
the royals, the like people they used to, the costume design, the production design,
Yeah.
music, the
Yeah.
uses of music and sound design at the same time. Um, I was like, okay, now I'm getting uh, a good idea about it, like how we can represent Indian culture from our point of view to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Introducing. So if you watch this movie, you will be introduced to music. What instruments Indian instruments are, like tabla, sitar, harmonium. You will be introduced to all those instruments. Sound design, um, the way, um, the ornaments the kings and queens they are wearing,
Yeah.
and the water which is like they are using, like a sandalwood, and everything is like done in a way that it represents India, of course, in a very overhyped, fashionable manner. But that's how you get people
Yeah.
in. People feel when you are, because it's all overhyped, because it's the emotion they are trying to portray is lust, you
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
and when you are showing this emotion, the colors like red, the sandy, the like desert sand, and um, like the grains, the when we put insert our hand in like grains or something like that, it's like very lust and
Yeah.
driven movie.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, okay, we can explore this kind of genre too in India, and
Definitely.
it's very underrated in, uh, like barely people know about this movie, and I was lucky enough to explore this movie by Meera and I.
This was another one I watched with my wife, and she wanted to check it out with me. I went through a similar thing when I first saw the title. I was like, oh, we're gonna maybe see some, I don't know how gnarly this will get, if this will get NC-17, etc. Um, the way that they used sexuality and lust and beauty was perfect. It's a very sexy film. The women are
Yeah,
beautiful, and the way that's presented, and the way that the man has the connection with the sculpture, and that connection that he has. And I even love that he, like, they hook up and they're in love, and it's his heart telling him, he's in love with her, but he's like, it affects my work. I can't not think about you. um I've really enjoyed the movie. I was kind of very stressed out in the third act about where it was all going to go. And then all my frustration just kind of put me full circle, where some of these things that happen are just very common, right? A little bit like this, um, the order
yeah.
of things and who's in charge and whose call it is, right? A little bit.
I think it all goes to the point where we question our morality, right? Like the duality of man,
Yeah.
or it all comes down to that. That's what I took from it.
Yeah.
In the act three, where everyone are trying to figure out what they they are here for.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if whenever I'm looking at a movie or cinema, I'm invested in characters more than story.
Yeah.
That's why, yeah, I will have many unpopular opinions about many movies which are plot driven, and you know things like that. Even though people find it, oh, it's an amazing movie, but if it's like plot driven, I think, I'm stepping out and I'm like, okay, yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good as like an entertainment factor,
Yeah.
but whenever I'm watching movie, I love to have an experience rather than just entertainment.
Yeah.
So experience, like emotional experience, and like you said, the next day you woke up and what just happened.
Yeah. No,
I
I
think we all need that.
yeah.
That's why we are all here for. We are all in this community because that force brought us here, right?
Yeah.
So I want that feeling to be in someone else's head when they are watching my movie, and I think that is the one thing that brought me to cinema. That what I felt last night. I cannot express it, but I can show it to you. I can just show it, and that's why I make a film.
Yeah.
Like that's why
Yes.
that's the driving force. That's why I hate. I can say it. I hate plot-driven movies.
my my favorite character was the woman. I kept getting behind like who would I want to be in this world, because there's so many tough roles and dynamics, and you almost want to pick Raj so you could not have to deal with different dynamics but just be a little more, well behaved. But the character that I really loved was the teacher who taught the Kamu Sutra, and I loved where she was at mentally. She seemed very open. She told the story of like when their king came back from battle, that he didn't go to the wife's room. He went to her room right away, and she has a really good mindset of like, so what, like this is kind of human nature in a way. And out of all the people in the world, I think I'd want to be her character because of where her mind was at. She seemed to be very mature and strong in it at a place of acceptance with her environment.
It's so interesting that you pointed that out. Like, man, I just right now I just have a different level of respect just because of you pointed that thing out.
Cool. Thanks, man.
The reason why I'm saying that is when you were taken to a point at Act 3 where you were stressful of what's going to happen,
Yeah. Yeah.
that all comes down to the foundation of what wisdom that you have been given when you were at that stage.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you were a child or a kid, like your teachers tell you a bunch of stories and they give you wisdom, and
Mm-hmm.
in experience of your life, throughout your life, you get a lot of different opinions from people,
Yeah.
but you are still in your head, you're taken back to the point where your teachers were telling you this, and you know
Yeah.
so that Act 3, it all goes there in the very first, like you have to, the way she was teaching everyone, the way,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think it's relatable. I don't know if director had that in mind, but if I am taking that interpretation out of it,
Yeah.
she did her job.
Yeah. 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 Um, I have a couple questions about the film, or maybe you could help me fill it in. Um, Raj talks about how he eats this poison often, so it makes him immune to poison. Because he has a tolerance to it,
Yeah.
and then he like puts it on his tongue, and it's like a black tar.
Yeah.
Is that him doing the opium in another way, or is that something different?
No, it's different. It relates to the story. We like in India, we have a very, like old story of Lord Shiva, how he was taking poison so that one bit at a time.
Okay.
So later on, he will be immune to that. So
Okay.
it's like a very symbolic that how he
Yeah.
is like a god who
Yeah.
is controlling this thing.
Yeah.
So that particular thing was the symbol of how he is stable. He can, the Lord Shiva is called Neelkant
Okay.
uh, in in Hinduism, because he can, even though he sips poison, he can control it over here. He cannot just
Okay.
bring it down or bring it up. He can just control it. So Neel as in blue, it's like a poison
Okay.
color, and Kant means a neck. So Neel Kant is someone who is like, who can control the poison over here, cannot just bring it down or so. So he just wants to be stable. So it's like a meaning there that he wants to be immune to whatever distractions he's going to have later in his life. Like you said, that I don't
Yeah.
want to be with her even though I love her,
Yeah.
because it's distracting
Yeah. Yeah. No, and then
work hard.
uh thank you for clarifying. And then the clip that you saw on my oh, I don't know if you saw it. There's a scene where she's like uh putting this like sand, but it's like paint all over his face,
Yeah,
over
yeah.
Raj, and he's like embracing it. What is that, just an artistic choice? Like what is
It's a,
that?
it's a completely artistic choice.
Okay, cool. It looks beautiful, and I thought it was so interesting. But I because I can, I want to ask you, what is there anything else that? Okay, thank you for clarifying. Thank you for clarifying.
I think it maybe it you can take interpretations of, I don't know. Even I took like it. Every human nature has its own fetishes.
Yeah,
You have
yeah,
your own.
yeah, yeah,
Maybe, I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah. No. Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
If you had to take a frame from that film and have it up on your home, what frame would that be?
In wedding, there is a wedding in the cinema where all the women, like there is a frame where all women are laughing and they are like picking something from the water,
Cool.
and it's like a composition where like there are 8 to 9 women, they are just laughing and they are
Yeah.
like dancing in a fashion that some where they are finding something from the water. I think that is the frame I would, because we can see several different costumes, emotions, and colors looking at that frame. So I'll take that one.
I love it. I like the frame of the two women dancing in the beginning together. I think that's a beautiful frame. And then when Maya and Jai uh jump into they go swimming,
Yeah.
and he goes skinny dipping, and then she chooses to first jump in with her dress. I kind of like that moment. I immediately, when they have that moment together, isolated, and they're at the beginning of their love, I just want them to like stay there, like just how he remembers it when he's being brutally dragged to his death, how he's just thinking of memories with her, and what a brutal way to die. What are they pouring on him for the elephant to stomp on him? Spoilers.
Mm, I really don't know. It's long back I saw this film.
Okay, it's okay.
I don't know what they really used it. Uh,
Okay, okay,
Culturally, I don't know where it went later on.
it's okay. From a filmmaking perspective, we can't really have an elephant stomp on a real man. I love the way that was shot. From a storyboard perspective, you getting Maya's reactions, you're getting the stomping coming over, and then we cut back to her reaction. That's all you need to understand what happened. And then that's insane. She starts walking and leaving as they're about to be invaded, and I heavy with the way it all comes together at the end. And oh, I
All
guess oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
we I think we questioned that, like all for what? We all
Yeah,
did for what?
yeah,
Um, that's a big question, but you know To be honest, it's director's choice. When you make that decision, um, you have to really think about the tragedy, or um, life never ends, it just begins from there. I
Do
don't
you?
like to
Oh,
do
go ahead.
that with my audience.
Well, okay, you read my mind. There's things called, European style endings where it's more open ended, and then you have your Hollywood style endings. In cinema, what endings do you prefer?
I prefer the ending where protagonist achieves his goal. Not necessarily he
Cool.
gets what he wants,
Cool.
but as soon as he gets what he needs, the movie ends there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Open ending is where you, like Inception. Many people say that it's open ended with, but no, it's not open
Yeah.
ended,
Yeah.
because he got what he needed. He wanted to be with his children, and in the end he's there. Not necessarily, it's not necessary if it's a dream or reality, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So that's why the totem falls, and or doesn't fall, and we are just into roll credits, and
Yeah.
people are like, oh, it's open ended. No, it's not open ended.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that aspect I love it. But the film where, like in Francois Truffaut's, where in, I think in 400 Blows, when
Oh.
the guy is walking, like he's running towards the ocean,
Yeah.
and frame freezes,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we feel satisfied. I don't know if it's open ended, but we are satisfied. The entire movie was about, he wants to be free, he wants to set free
Right.
from all of this.
Right.
And in the midpoint of the movie, he just describes this to his friend that I just want to see the ocean.
Right. Right.
And in the end, he's there. Emotionally, he is there.
Yeah.
Technically, he is there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And every single aspect point you towards that. But I think many people got misguided, or by the aspects of what he was trying to say, and that's where people started to make movies just to screw up with audience's head, to keep it open
Yeah.
ended. I don't want to say it, I don't want to
Yeah.
tell them what happened in the story, but you really have to.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what emotion I'm going to take.
Yeah.
uh, but until and unless it's like it's meant to be like that, like
Right.
for example, in Forest Gump, we don't know where it's going.
Right. 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 Right.
Like even in the opening image, you see the
Yeah.
feather, like
And then at the
we
end, we
don't know
see.
where it's going.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was meant to be like that.
Cool. Cool, man.
So
I
everything should have purpose.
absolutely, and good answer, by the way, by just saying, as long as the protagonist is dealing like with his kind of character arc and journey, you're happy, but not necessarily everything else needs to be tied up, but the protagonist's journey should be tied up a little bit.
Yeah.
That's a great answer. I kind of see a similar ending in Satya and American Beauty.
Mm.
And Kama Sutra, if you want to kind of keep playing with that, like, not enjoy, but do you need like a little bit of like tragedy at the end of your film?
No, um, definitely not tragedy. But I like the way. Thanks for pointing it out. Why I love these three endings in these three movies, like Satya, um, Kama Sutra, or even in this American Beauty. Take for example Dark Knight. You know, um, you can see these endings as playing as a montage, and at the same time, we know we are taking uh, like a course of journey which is beyond this plot, which is beyond this journey, which is beyond everything else. It cannot be defined, but it will take you somewhere emotionally.
Yeah.
That's why I prefer endings with montage where characters are like trying to figure out
Yeah.
where they are, and like a very cathartic moment they
Yeah.
are having in this entire experience. Even in Inception, like the montage uh, ending, and after that he's reaching, and then we are like, okay, he's towards he met his kids and everything, and we are just satisfied, and we are feeling everything more than just that story.
Yeah.
We saw action, we saw he's killing bunch of people, he's uh, going through many like a adventurous thing, but later on it all comes down to family, and
Yeah.
that superb montage after like the cathartic moment after completing his mission and going back.
Yeah.
Same with American Beauty, where
Yeah.
you are at the end.
Yeah.
Same with Satya, everyone coming out of the movie theater, and uh, you know later on like the public and the ending quotations that you pointed out.
Yeah. Um,
We are all at that stage where it's beyond this story. I think being a filmmaker, you have to break that barrier. You
yeah.
okay, you showed this for 2.5 hour movie, or even 10-minute movie. You are showing this entire course of drama, but in the last minute, you just change the course of it.
Yeah.
Not the not the context, but you take audience somewhere beyond this experience. I think that's necessary when it comes to ending a movie.
It's like one of those things where it's like you need to know the rules of filmmaking so you could break them and kind of change it a little bit. And even to have Kevin Spacey, kind of, I know, uh,
Okay, I'll go ahead.
more or less, or it sounds more sophisticated than it is. But like, I think it's really an interesting choice in American Beauty, where after, spoilers, after you see Kevin Spacey is shot dead and he's bleeding out on the table, he's still narrating the film. And I just think that's an interesting choice, especially to talk about how originally we had no narration, and so I just think those are fun rules you can play with once you get into the editing room or once you choose to tell stories,
Yep, that's true.
Um,
And what I love about that movie in the end, even though he's short, he's still smiling.
yeah, I know. Yeah. Well, you believe his. I really do love American Beauty, and it's almost weird to, at least in my bubble, in my community, because of all the controversy with Kevin Spacey,
Mm. Right.
it's tainted that film a little bit. But I really love that movie. I'm a huge fan of it. That's one of the ultimate character arcs, his journey and kind of where he goes. And uh, I saw that movie very young. I remember seeing that movie so young. My grandma was upset with me for watching it because within 5 minutes of the film, he's in the shower and and so I was kind of like, I remember my grandma was mad at me for watching it, but I was like, no, once you get past that scene, it's really good, grandma. And my grandma was like, no way. If you were to have a still from American Beauty and have it up on your home, what would that still be?
It's overrated to put the ceiling scene in
It's
that,
okay. It's all right.
but it's very difficult though. It's really difficult for me. Okay, let's do that. Okay, I think where Kevin Spacey is sitting on his sofa chair, and he's putting his legs on the table, and she's on the door frame looking at him.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I think that one is my favorite one.
Yeah, I love when he does a set of bench and then he sits up and he's smoking the joint. It's such a it's a juxtaposition, that whole scene. And so I think that scene is beautiful. The ceiling scene is beautiful. Um, the point of view of the neighbor filming Kevin Spacey when he's doing the bicep curls like naked.
Welcome to America's Funniest Videos.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. I think those are all really great images, and just bizarre, you know. And then to have that everything at the end with Sam Cooper being the one that kills him, and it's because he's secretly a closet, like a closet homosexual, and he took it offensive that he wouldn't want to be with him, and just a very a good blend of a real story with humor. I love the humor in the film. What were you gonna say?
Do you think that he killed him because he rejected him?
I do. I think he took it personal. What do you think?
I think he still thinks that it should be a secret, and that guy knows my secret.
Oh wow, man. The thing that makes me, I think there's no wrong. I love that. I love that's your answer. I love that you're making me think more about something I thought I knew. I think he cries, like he's sad and emotional, and I love that. I love that. I think you're right. I think there's nothing, because he's in the rain. He's emotional. He gives himself to him. Kevin Spacey really casually kind of brushes it off with him. He doesn't necessarily try to confide in him. Oh, I think you're right. I think you're right. He doesn't want that out, because especially the way he treats, his family, and how he's already at the boil top. He's already boiled up to be explode in a way. I love that, man.
I think even when mom,
Yeah.
like his the guy who is selling drugs, his mom,
Yes.
she is. It's a long time that she has never been touched since a long time.
Yeah. Right.
And when this guy is leaving his house, he kisses her,
Yeah.
and she feels that kiss. In a way, it's not it's like a mother and son, but it's totally different reaction from her.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even she knows that he is gay, or even his son knows,
Yeah. Yeah.
but they don't want to bring that out because he's such a disciplined person.
Well, and then there's also something to be said there, where the father is seeing that his son is living the life that he wants to live. That he's into filmmaking, he's into video. He has his own hobbies. He's not necessarily a reflection of his father. He's something completely different. And so, I mean, I think when he sees that, he thinks that he's giving Kevin Spacey, a blowjob in the garage. I think he thinks, why not me, in a way. And he's also kind of jealous that his kid's able to do these things, but he's not open enough to do so either. And so there's just this huge combination of frustration. And I love that you pointed that out, man. I think that's really great. Yeah, there's some layers to it there. And then I even love the whole role of the cheerleader. It's like a male version of someone that barks a lot, but they've never been in a real fight, in a way. And it's like this version of this woman that is talking a big game, but hasn't really experienced these life experiences that she's trying to portray,
And think about it this way: what will happen after this movie? It will open an investigation. Who will be the murderer? Someone who left the house, like both of them. The couple is going to leave the house,
Right.
and they also have a videotape saying, "You want me to kill my dad?
Right.
Will you do that for me?" And they are the prime suspects now.
Right.
Her wife is driving down with the gun in her hand.
Right.
And every single person has revealed their secret. She's not she was a virgin, and her secret of being with that guy was revealed. The secret of being gay is revealed, and the victim here is Kevin Spacey,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and he
Definitely.
is dead.
Right.
And
Right.
who is the like? I think that's the American beauty.
Yeah. No, I think you're right, man. I think you're right. And I've watched this movie for so long, with like a certain lens. I appreciate the different lens you're throwing on my eyes, man. You're right though. It is like a so is that ending to you a Hollywood style ending?
Yes, because he accepts it.
Yeah.
I have to
Right.
be with my family.
Right.
I am doing it with my family, and he gets shot down.
Right. 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 Yeah.
He
No.
never got what he wanted,
Yeah.
but he got what he needed.
Yeah.
He needed to realize that he is lucky to be with the family,
Right.
in an American family, living in a duplex,
Right.
in sharing this neighborhood with uh, diversifying, the people,
Right.
but
Yeah.
realizing everything and later getting shot down.
Yeah.
It's I love that ending.
What do you need to see in a movie that gets you excited? Is it the actors, the look of the film, the look of the film? What's a movie where you see the trailer or you read about it and you tell yourself the day it comes out, I'm gonna check out that film?
Yep. Um, I think especially with the movie trailers, when they show the first act, which is very realistic, you just get in, you empathize with the characters right away in the first act of the film. And later in the end of the first act, you realize it's going to be more than that. It's going to be a cinematic story. It's going to be beyond your imagination. It's not going to be realistic, but you're so invested in these characters that you allow yourself in diving deep into something which is never going to happen in real life,
Yeah.
but you start, you believe in these characters because of the first act was so strong.
Yeah.
And whatever movie that does that to me, I'm gonna be investing my time
Mm.
watching that movie. And if trailers are like that, uh, I'm going to be like, I'm gonna check this movie out.
Right.
Or even reading log lines from Google,
Yeah.
uh, like Google Little Miss Sunshine, and there you see what Little Miss Sunshine is all about.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, okay, I would love to check that movie out.
Yeah.
Just because I read it, it intrigued me. It just gives me clear idea what the first act is going to be about, and it gives a hook that what it's going to explore.
Yeah.
Breaking Bad, what's what the first act is going to be about,
Yeah.
and what this specific TV show is going to explore.
Yeah.
We just are convinced as an audience member to go and click on that movie or watch that movie.
Yeah.
It's necessary.
Great, man. Great. Just following up with to make sure I ask this question about all our films we kind of touched on today. If you were to have a still from modern times on your wall, what would that still be?
I think when he is doing that with the uh, like the nut, like the screwdrivers, he does that.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, okay.
I click that
Yeah, yeah.
one
Cool, cool.
because it's like very symbolic. At first I never thought of it that way, but because of the machines, people have become monkeys again.
Yeah,
It's like it's a good symbol.
yeah. I the skating sequence definitely is one that I would grab because even when I watch it today, I'm like, what an illusion! It still looks like he's about to take a digger, again and again and again. Um, are you doing okay on time for a couple more minutes?
Yeah, yeah, not a problem.
Okay, cool. I like to ask these questions for our guest. And I've really enjoyed today, and I would love to do this again with you, where especially because the vision that you have as a filmmaker, I would love your opinion on, since we've been talking, I wrote down 3 films that I would love to eventually talk with you about. But I have these questions. Okay, I have these questions. Uh, what is your favorite word?
Word. Uh, yeah. Man, such a weird question.
These are from these are questions from the show back in the day, Inside the Actor Studio.
Okay.
And yeah,
Um,
it could be in your language if it's easier, whatever you want to do. I would love your opinion on these.
okay. I, it's I don't know. Can you just randomly can I say something like
Yeah, whatever you
okay?
want. There's no wrong answer.
Um, okay. Are you watching closely? No, it's a sentence. You just want a word, right? Um,
That could work, man. If you have something that I kind of want, even if it's more than one word, I really do appreciate the response of that first, whatever like kind of came up in the brain. Go ahead and just share. So if it was more than one word, it's okay. What is it?
jalapeno.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
What's that?
Huh?
What's that?
Jalapeno.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm with you. I'm with you, brother. What is your least favorite word?
Guilt.
Okay. um what turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
Mom.
It's what turns you off?
Um, regrets.
Cool. Cool. What is your favorite curse word?
Fuck face.
um uh what sound or noise do you love?
But I'm bumpish. Maybe.
Great. What sound or noise do you hate?
Some don't nice do I hate. Someone stomping on my like balls are thin.
Cool, cool. uh, what profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
It's a really nice question. I think so many things that I've wanted to do in life in general.
Yeah.
Like if you want to do all of those things, you have to be an actor.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Um, but I think a literary critic.
I, excellent, excellent answer. And this is one that's just that I kind of ask. Could you share with me your career goals as a filmmaker 3 years from now, 5 years from now, and 10 years from now? If you don't mind sharing that, like what your goals are with that.
Um, I think 3 years from now, I see myself where um, everyone around me are growing with me. I keep saying that because the people I collaborate with, I tend to, you know,
Mhm.
stay together with them as like a family.
Yeah.
And if 3 years I'm growing in certain fashion, I think the way I'm surrounded by the people, they should grow with me, and we should all help each other out, being in the same community of filmmaking. So that's what I think. Yeah,
I
and
love.
yeah, I think I don't know if I answered the question, but that's it.
Not only did you answer, I think that's my favorite answer for someone's 3-year goal so far that I've heard. I love that answer, man. I feel the exact same way. What about 5-year and 10-year?
In 5 years, I think I'm gonna take a vacation with my family
Good, good, good,
somewhere around the world.
beautiful.
And in 10 years, I don't know, we can connect on Zoom or whatever technology is there.
Yeah, yeah, man. I love.
Schedule it. Just send me the invite.
Um, by then I could um, I could hand you probably a cup of tea through my computer. You could grab the cup of tea and drink the cup
Right?
of.
Right.
Uh, uh, hey man, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you
Um,
so much for inviting me here.
I hope you didn't stay up too late and I didn't mess with your sleeping schedule or anything.
Oh, totally not. First, before we cut off, I would really like to know about this movie,
Oh,
Filthy Animals.
okay, cool. Thank you for
But
asking.
I think, I've been following up your post on Facebook, on Instagram, and, you know, I really think it's way cool. I'm so excited to know more about this. Can you please just quickly brief me?
Of course, and thank you for asking. I built up a lot when you and I met during that time. I was working a lot for free as a grip, and I was doing a lot of grip work, and um, my TA at my junior college, Nathan, he's a gaffer, started getting me on sets, and I went to Long Beach State to watch everyone's finals one year, and I kind of sat alone in a corner, kind of watching these films and thinking to myself, maybe I'll transfer to this school and continue my growth at this junior college and then go to Long Beach State. The following year, I was sitting with like 15 to 20 people on all these films that I worked on for seniors in their Long Beach State films. And I worked as a grip, like I was saying, and I started networking a lot. I built a really good community of amazing people, just kind of like what you're saying, where I found these people that I want to grow with, and I have my film family, and I got to be an assistant director on a project, and it was a really hard gig, but I was really good at it, and I was working on the script during that same time, and there was this really weird window of time where I built up a lot of momentum. A lot of people knew I was working on a feature film, and I had this script that I was really proud of. But then I started getting a lot of paid jobs for assistant directing, and I kind of cut myself off of it to go make this feature. And I basically gave a gaffer an opportunity to be a cinematographer. I gave a key grip an opportunity to be a gaffer, etc. Everyone got these opportunities that they hadn't been in before. And um, my professor at my junior college, Eluja Vasaiyafat, he was basically my mentor, and he basically brought me in, put me under his wing, and guided me on this weird window I was in where I would have loved a little more time on my script, but I had all these people that were in this window during their winter break where we could film. And we kind of pulled the trigger and we went for it. And um, I'll just be honest with the process. Everyone worked pretty much for free, and we switched people out, so we never overworked anyone or kind of abused the position we were in. There was one actor, he's a veteran actor. His name is Raymond J. Barry. He's this fine gentleman right here in the center.
Oh, okay.
He was in the film Born on the 4th of July. He played Tom Cruise's dad. He was in Dewey Cox Walk Hard. He's the dad that kept saying wrong kid died. That was like his big line. He was in the show Justified. He was in the film Training Day. My friend met him at a gym, and my friend was squatting, and Ray was like, how much are you squatting? Blah, blah, blah. And they started talking, and he's like, I'm an actor, right? And when they told me that they met this man named Ray, I was like, Ray who? And then as soon as they told me, I said, when you meet him, you take your headphones out, you shake his hand. This is before COVID. I was like, you show him respect. And then my friends were like, we showed him so much respect, we got his email for you. And so I emailed him. I met him at his art studio, and he's the only actor we paid in the production. And I wanted him to play a grandpa in the film. And instead, after he read the script, he asked if he could be a bigger role in the film and play a sexual predator. And it was like such a trip because I pictured him as this grandpa, which was this really personal scene. And then out of nowhere, he's being this, not necessarily a role model character. And so I was in this weird window where I was very lucky, and I built up, I think something that's very important for young filmmakers is momentum is a thing. I built up a lot of momentum for this peak moment to kind of pull the trigger and make this film. And I have a lot of insecurities about myself, but I do feel like passion and enthusiasm can get you a long way. And it got me this far. And so we got through production. It was crazy. And you saw in the clip I sent you, we had a lot of different locations.
Wow. Yeah. And so you pulled that off.
And it was really great. Everyone that was involved in the production has great memories. Even the really, really hard days, when you hear them talk about it, it's kind of like they're talking war stories. On this night, we were up for 16 hours, and I had an amazing team. I had my professor Eluja as a producer, and I had students from Long Beach State come onto set, and they realized that we have a professor from a college on set, along with a bunch of young filmmakers that are really hungry. So you had this really good balance of professionalism, but yet it's me as your captain. So it's a little rocky, it's a little fun balance of everything. And then my wife, Kendra, was also a producer. So between the three of us, we really conquered a lot. And then when you add, I had the luxury of one of my students from El Camino Junior College. His name is Shun. We call him Master Shun. He lived with me during the entire production and filmed everything from a BTS perspective behind the scenes. And we have a feature-length documentary on how we pulled this film off. And so
great. Congratulations, man.
It's really cool. And it's really funny to watch. And we had a muscle car in the film, and there's a scene where this guy pulls into a parking lot, and Shun films me within 5 minutes getting the okay to use a muscle car in a film. It's just very guerrilla as far as everything I did. Everything was very I kind of would wing it, but really tried to embrace like having a golden tongue, and doing my best to network. And so I had a friend that was at a very young age sexually assaulted. And so when I got the opportunity to make this film, I wanted to make a film that was very personal, but yet realistic in what I could film. And so I knew I had certain family friends that owned certain locations. My stepdad's best friend owns a strip club. So it's like, I dealt with these people through the years where they're like, if you ever need this location, call me up. I'm your guy. And it's of course when they're kind of drinking a little bit, but I followed up on everything. Every person that told me, hey, there's this thing, I followed up. Like, okay, I'm taking you up on it. So I built a ton of momentum between having Kendra, my producer, Illusion, my professor, as a producer, Shun filming everything, and then Nathan, my cinematographer. This was his first time doing a feature, and he did an excellent job. And we all had a really great bond. And my cinematographer stayed at my home for a week so we could watch films. And I have a limited education as a film student, but as a cinephile, I have a complete dialogue. I can name off references all day long. And so we even made for every scene in the film, we made a lookbook that's from a movie. And so
great.
I'll just kind of skim, So we have this pretty much on every single shot we did. And so between and I could email it to you, but between Nathan and I had a language. I had dialogue with him of, he's like, what kind of lens do you want? And I was like, I need this shot. And he's like, got it. I understand what you need. And so we were able to have a really good team where I would like to say all of my weaknesses were canceled out by all the strengths I had around me. Everything that I didn't have, my team had. And I was very lucky. I needed everyone to be involved. And then there's of course more people that I'm not naming off, but there's so many good people that we had involved. And so going back to the subject matter, I handed the script to my friend and I hadn't really told him what I was writing about. And I said, we live in a universe where I can't go and kill your sexual predator, but in this world, we kind of play with that a little bit more. In this world, there are no rules. And I handed him the script, and I didn't know if he was going to be offended or taking it personal. And he was very humbled by it, and it was like a really nice gift for me to him that he enjoyed it as much as I did, and that he was just like, fuck yeah, like good stuff. And so going into it, there was already a lot of heavy subject matter and it was very personal, but then I have a lot of dysfunctionality in my family life, and that's sprinkled in with some of these characters. And so I only should write about what I know because I'm new to screenwriting, and that's kind of what I did.
I think I'm inspired by the way you are saying everything. It's really necessarily because of the collaborations that we do with our team members. Sometimes you're not, you know exactly what you want, but you want, someone else. You feed off of other energy. You feed off from the energy with the people that you surround yourself with these people, and then you're just taking off to this journey. And you were so lucky that you made that happen, because it's difficult for a filmmaker or film producer to do that. And since you were surrounded with the people you knew, and I think it's great. That's the filmmaker's dream, I would say. So kudos on that, and congratulations, you made that happen.
Thank you so much, and I look forward to you seeing it soon and one day. And it's been very cool to you and I are both kind of chasing our dreams, as simple as that. We're going for it, we're swinging big. And your filmography is very impressive, man. It's really cool. And I hope to one day have some numbers like you as far as what you've been able to pull off,
Those are just numbers, I'm still chasing my dream project, and we always are.
But the main thing about it that I see is the pacing of what you're putting out and what you're doing, and it just shows your work ethic. It goes back to that word momentum. You're building momentum the more and more you're doing this. And so it's just inspiring, and I'm really grateful for your time, and that like we can just like you said, you surround yourself around people that, you know, build you up and kind of make you grow. It's the same thing if you're surrounded by the opposite. And so selfishly, I choose to surround myself around people like you and other people that are just inspiring to be around. It's good energy, man. You know, it's very good energy to be around.
I think I would love to end it with, by saying this, that good people make you happy, and bad people give you good experience. So, whatever. So I think that was like a quotation that I always follow.
I like it.
So that helps me to jump right into a project.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love it. I love it. Um, I if you're up for it, kind of soon, I would like to do this again because you triggered certain films where when we leave, I'll email you the movies and let me know if you're interested. I would
Yeah.
love your opinion. I would love your opinion on some of these films because of what your taste is like and where you like a film to kind of go. You know, I think you and I would have a really good dialogue from it.
For sure, man. And good luck with the movie. I'm so excited, and I would love to watch it on big screen instead of this online thing going on.
Uh,
Because I'm a cinema goer. Like I have to go to the cinema hall and watch the movie instead of clinging myself to a table and chair and watching this on a now. I
right.
hate that, but I really hope I get to watch this movie on a big screen. So good luck with that.
Me too. And thank you so much for your support and thank you for your time today.
Of course, man.
All right.
Anytime.
All right, man. I will talk to you
Have a
soon.
good day. Yes, of course.
All right. All right. Bye, man. Okay. Bye.
Yes.